Hi, science class. Mrs. Ness here. I am going to walk you through the assignment that's going to take us the next few days. This is important to be completed before we have class next time. It is not optional. It needs to be accomplished. So this first video is going to take you through how to do the process. The second video will just show the simulation taking place in case it will not load for you. So please notice we are in still metabolism. We are now in chapter 2 and we're in lesson 2.1. What we're going to focus on today, though, is the homework. Okay, the rest of the stuff that comes before this, you do not need to do. Numbers 1 through 4, don't worry about it. Okay, so we are making observations in the sim, so you will have to be able to pull up the sim, and we are going to go ahead and select the healthy body to observe it, and we're going to just feed the body sandwiches only for the simulation. Do not feed it anything else that is optional to feed it, just sandwiches. And then we're going to pay attention to certain molecules and watch how they travel in the body. So from the moment that they enter your body, and then what happens to them, where do they go, what systems are involved. So just to remind you with the sim, so I'm going to go ahead and launch it here. Healthy body. I'm reloading it since I've used it before, and I'm going to observe, not test. Just to remind you, the green side is the digestive system, your mouth, the stomach, the small intestine. Technically, your large intestine would then lead to the end of your digestive tract. The red section is representing your circulatory system. The tubes here that go around are the blood vessels, and then the heart is at the center. And we have 2 more sections to talk about. You have your respiratory system, your mouth, nose, and then to your lungs. And then the last region you need to be aware of for what we're working on is the cells of your body, this yellow region. Okay. Up here is the food that we're going to feed the body. And we need to follow the instructions before you launch it so you can make an observation. It tells you turn off all molecules except for starch and glucose. And then write down what do you observe. So that means, depending on how you're zoomed in, you might have to scroll down a little bit in the sim to turn off all of these things except for starch and glucose. That means we're just not going to see them on the sim now, okay? So it's a little less busy to look at, which is kind of nice. So go ahead and feed the body a sandwich. So I'm feeding it a sandwich. So notice how it's starch molecules entered into the stomach, and they still were starch molecules when they entered the small intestine. Oh, did you see that? The starch broke apart into the yellow hexagons, which are glucose. Oh, another one broke down into glucose. Oh, some of it got passed out. Whoa, hey, check it out. Whoa, some glucose just headed into the red area. So once it was done in the digestive system, it got broken down to a smaller part. Now it headed into the blood vessels of the circulatory system through the heart. I'm going to go ahead and feed it another sandwich since there's an energy shortage. So it's going through the circulatory system. And then, there we go. Now we have a couple entering the yellow section. Don't worry about orange for right now. That's not going to be our focus. But check it out. Once they're in the circulatory system, some of them keep traveling through the circulatory system, but their end destination is to get to the cells of your body and head to these guys here, which are the mitochondria. Okay. So what did we observe? Well, you cannot answer this question, first of all, with a very short answer. If you answer it shortly, you are not describing the process. We noticed that it came in through the mouth. We noticed that it was starch when we brought it into the body. And then it broke down when it was in the small intestine, which are all part of the digestive system. We then saw the glucose molecules head into your bloodstream, which is part of the circulatory system and through the heart. And then it ended up in the cells. So I've already typed a response that I've used. You are welcome to pause the video and utilize what I wrote or freehand and write your own. But notice that I'm kind of using a step-by-step. First, the sandwich entered the mouth and came in as starch. Then the starch traveled to the digestive system, which included the stomach and small intestine. And I would pause that one. Next, the starch broke down into glucose in the small intestine. Then the glucose molecules moved into the circulatory system, which include the blood vessels and heart, and traveled to the yellow section, which would be the cells of the body. And lastly, they made it to the mitochondria, which are in the cells. Now, technically, the last step would be at least just getting to the cells of your body. The point is that it is the glucose that traveled to your cells of your body, not starch. And you can clearly see that in the sim. Okay, so there are 2 more questions. Again, you're going to repeat the process. You're going to feed it a sandwich, but you turn off everything except for protein and amino acids, which watch the next video. I will show that if you can't load the sim or don't want to load the sim and you just want to watch the video. And I'll do the same thing with oxygen, just have it play oxygen. So as you move through this, and if you're like, oh, I'm going to go do work on something else, make sure you hit the save and continue button, okay, before you go off and do something else. All right. There is a second page, so make sure that you do answer those questions as well. I think you could answer number 6 today. You know already which molecules from the food and air end up in the cells in the body. You just had a test on this. You know which ones it is, so make sure you check off the ones that you need to. The next one is asking you to match the body systems to their jobs. So you have 3 systems to talk about: circulatory, digestive, and respiratory. So hopefully from the sim, you can kind of figure out which one does what. And if you're not sure, remember in the Google Classroom, your notes and resources section, you do have a glossary there. You also have a glossary in Amplify if you need it to double check your answers, but you should get 100% on number 6 and 7. No question about it. Number 8, you do not have to do it. If you have questions, please type them there, but you're not required. Make sure when you're done with everything that you do hit the hand in button. And again, this needs to be fully completed before you come to class next time. Please and thank you. It will make our discussion much more interesting if you have the work accomplished. If you have questions, please let me know. Otherwise, good luck, and we'll see you in class next time.